Hey, this is Todd with Defense and Safety, and I thought I'd start doing a few gun reviews. I've still got some more knife reviews to do, but I thought I'd start switching it up a little and doing a few gun reviews. So the first gun I'd like to review is the very first gun I ever bought. Unfortunately, this is not that gun, but the very first gun I bought back in the early to mid 80s was an H&K P7 M13. And that's what I have here is an H&K P7 M8. The main difference is this is a single stack, the M8 meaning that it holds 8 rounds plus 1 for a total of 9, and the M13 was a double stack capacity, so 13 rounds plus 1 made 14. The thing that's unique about this gun, or a few things that are unique, is one is it has this front strap that is actually what cocks the gun. So as you can see here, this little striker comes out, and then it goes in. So to cock this gun, you simply squeeze this in, and now the striker is cocked, and it can be fired. And then the trigger, it's a very light trigger, and then of course it would automatically cycle and reset. So as long as you're holding this in, you have basically a single action trigger pull every time. The other thing that makes this gun unique is that it's got a gas blowback system. So underneath the barrel is a piston, and what happens obviously with a gas system is that as the gas has pushed the bullet out, the pressure within the barrel has to be relieved for the slide to begin cycling. So once the bullet leaves the barrel, then and only then can the slide begin to move rearward, and the gas ports out where the case is. So even without an extractor, this gun will eject brass, empty brass. As a matter of fact, I was shooting this at a compact IDPA match this weekend, and people were commenting how far this was throwing brass. It was throwing it at least 25 feet away. So very strong ejection. I don't know if you can actually tell in this, but the actual slide has a plum color to it, and this is common with these guns. They discolor with age to a plum color, and you can have them refinished, and within a few years they'll come back to plum. So something else that's unique about this pistol, and I'll just go ahead and take the slide off, is that the barrel is fixed to the frame, so it doesn't move. So not only you can see how low the bore axis is to where your finger is. It's extremely low, the lowest of any pistol I've ever seen. And so you've got a couple things going on here. You've got an extremely low bore axis, which means felt recoil. It's not as snappy up. You also have the piston system, which I can show you here. This is the piston that goes up under the barrel, and there's a tube under here where it can slide back into it. So you've got a fixed barrel that doesn't move. You've got the slide not moving until the bullet and some of the gases have left the barrel. And then you've just got an extremely compact pistol design. And it is relatively heavy. It's definitely heavier than like a Glock 19, for example. So all of that combines makes this, in my opinion, one of the most accurate 9mm out there. And it's primarily due to the fact that the barrel doesn't float. It's not a pivoting barrel. But again, and then as you can see, it's got a really large recoil spring that actually goes over the barrel. And then the actual pistol just comes back over. There it is. That easy. Another awesome thing about this gun is, let me just put the slide back, is when this slide is back, and this little, you can barely see it right here, there's a little detent here, you push that in to lock the slide back, or it'll lock back on an empty mag, is when you're reloading, you come up, you drop the mag, which it has ambidextrous, you press them down like a lot of HKs have, to drop the mag. When you insert the new mag, you simply squeeze the cocker, that moves the slide forward, and you're back up on target. So So it's extremely fast to get back into operation. Extremely easy to clean. You saw that it really breaks down to 3 parts, including the spring. And then to actually take out the striker system, you just push a little bit on this till it's flush. And I think you can even do this with your thumbnail. There's a little groove there, and then literally the whole striker system and firing pin come right out. So it's extremely easy to clean, extremely easy to maintain, extremely accurate pistol. I'm just going to try to reassemble this real quick, will I? I'm trying, never mind. I'm going to put it back together. But again, one of my favorite pistols I got, they don't make them anymore, but you can find these. They're extremely expensive. They're going to be well over $1,000. But it's a great pistol. It's not a safe queen. I don't use it for home defense. Wouldn't carry it. Primarily the reason I wouldn't carry this is unless you train with this almost exclusively, this trigger is very sensitive. It's probably about a 2-pound trigger. So even though it takes about 12 pounds to squeeze the cocker, the actual trigger itself is extremely light. And it does have a pretty long reset. I mean, it doesn't look that long, but you do need to come all the way forward. So unless you train with that pistol all the time, I wouldn't recommend it as a carry weapon. And because of the gas system, this whole area under the pistol here, if you lit off a string of 2 magazines, this would be impossible to touch right here. They put this plastic piece here so that your trigger finger doesn't come up and touch this anymore. The original H&K PSP, which is what the precursor to this was, the way you can tell it is it doesn't have this plastic here. And it probably has a magazine catch down here. Anyway, that's my Heckler & Koch P7M8. Again, one of the very first gun that I bought. I sold it. I regretted it. The P7M13 is definitely too big. I feel, even I have pretty big hands, but it feels really meaty. This feels really good in your hands. It's very compact, very light. I mean, very easy to maneuver. It's still pretty hefty, but all steel construction, polymer grips. You can undo this screw and this screw, and literally these panels just pop right off, and you have full access to everything inside here. It's so easy to maintain and clean. But again, it's a great shooting pistol, super fun to own and shoot, and a little bit of a novelty if you've never seen one. So that's my review of the P7M8 by H&K.